Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Movie Man Beyond. Today's episode I'm going to be talking about the Creepshow TV series, which is available on Shudder here in the UK. So I'm going to go through each episode briefly, what I preferred, what I didn't prefer. So here we go. So Creepshow was revived in 2019, I believe. Spanned 3 seasons. It's gonna have a 4th season coming up around about September, October. So I binge watched these a couple of weeks ago. Enjoyed them for the most part. Some didn't really stick out as much. I've got it open here on the laptop just so I can refresh my memory, but some of them are not really fond of, but some were really good and really enjoyed. So start off with season 1. First episode, Grey Matter, House of the Dead. First episode's got Tobin Bell in, so I was thinking, oh well, Jigsaw and stuff. Mainly it was about a kid with his dad who was turned into this monster. Just a monster episode, so it was enjoyable at first. The second episode was The House of the Head, which was the little girl with the doll's house, and the dolls would keep getting murdered and the heads getting chopped off and stuff. That was thoroughly enjoyable. On to episode 2, which was called Bad Wolf Down. Don't really remember this one. American Soldiers and the Werewolf. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember that one. Switched out. The Finger, where it's a growing finger and it develops into a monster / person that ends up killing people. I can't really remember much about that, to be honest either. The next episode's probably my favourite episode, which was All Hallows Eve, where a group of young kids take revenge on the families of the kids that burnt them down in a treehouse, which you don't find that out until the end. I thought that was really enjoyable, sad as well. And then the episode after that's The Man in the Suitcase, which is a genie. A bad genie, and every time he gets hurt, gold coins spit out of his mouth. Excuse me. So greed obviously ensures that happens with a group of I think there's 3 teenagers that keep beating him up and hitting him, and then eventually the karma is that they get turned into a suitcase genie, squished in and transported away. And this genie at the end, he sees, goes from place to place and punishing greedy people, which is, like I say, one of those tales where it's like, greed at the end. Next up is The Companion, where a man loses his wife and he brings a scarecrow to life. I thought that episode was enjoyable as well. But it goes to show, like, some people can't be alone. They have to have a companion, even if that ends up, being a massive mistake. And it doesn't always mean that you have to be with someone. It was like he builds this killer scarecrow to fill in for his wife, which he then ultimately regrets. Lydia's Lane's Better Half was the second episode on that one. I've just reading the brief summary there. It's a woman who kills a lesbian lover who doesn't get the job that she apparently was promised her, and it ends up in the elevator. Didn't relay that one, thought it was ridiculous. She ends up getting cut in half at the end, and then there's 2 dead bodies in a lift. She tried to sneak out the body, but there was a party going on in this building didn't make any sense to me. Episode 5 of season 1, Night of the Paw. I really enjoyed that one. The monkey's paw that grants 3 wishes, and a man wishes. Does he wish to be killed? Yes, by an innocent person. I think that's the case. Woman turns up, and chaos ensures. It's basically wasting wishes away. Bit of Pet Cemetery vibe going on when he wishes his wife back from the dead and stuff. It's a good episode. And Time is Tough in Muskie Hollow. It was a bit crap me still there. It was a bit like Land of the Dead, with the mayor and like a town that's sort of overrun by these corrupt people, and there's a like a bad guy running the town. Ends up the town revolt against him, and him and his people end up getting eaten by zombies. David Arquette's in that episode. The last episode of season 1 is Skin Crawlers. The guy with the leeches, and they're obviously eating away all the people's fat, but then they don't take into account of solar eclipse, and then it ends up exploding all the bodies and stuff like that. Excuse me. And the second episode on that one is By the Silver Water of Lake Champlain. It's about this family. The kids witness a mythical creature, sort of like Nessie. It takes the dad away, and no one believes them. There's an abusive stepdad. They end up finding this creature. Stepdad ends up getting ate by the creature. It's just like a monster episode, really. So, yes, that's the end of season 1. Thoroughly enjoyed that season. Going on to season 2, we have The Model Kid. Now, this one is about a kid that has model toys, and he's another stepdad that's abusive, but then the model toys end up coming alive and killing his stepdad. Really enjoyed that one. The second one is Television of the Dead, which is like an Evil Dead crossover. They have the Necronomicon. That's pretty cool episode, funny. And then Jesus Christ, like a freaking ghost. Second episode of that season is Dead and Breakfast. It's a haunted bed and breakfast that they try and rip people off. And then it ends up, it is actually a haunted house that has been home to a serial killer. So that was enjoyable. And then Pesticide, an exterminator that's been ripping people off for years, ends up getting his comeuppance. That was enjoyable as well. The third episode, The Right Snuff, the 2 astronauts. One astronaut gets jealous of the other astronaut because he's getting all the plaudits, and he's just like, what about me, sort of thing. He ends up killing the astronaut, who was actually an alien they were in first contact with, and then the aliens don't want anything to do with us because of our killing ways. So that was a good episode. Sibling rivalry, didn't like this one. This was a teenage vampire rivalry thing. Switched off in my mind halfway through, didn't enjoy it. Next one is episode 4, Pipe Screams. This weird drain clog shit like monster is in a pipe, and this landlady of the whole tenement building ends up getting killed by the mob of the people that live there at the end because she's just a horrible landlady. It was alright. I can't remember the next episode within the Walls of Madness. And then skipping on to the last episode, this was an episode that was just one on its own instead of the 2. Final episode, Night of the Living Late Show, which starred Justin Long, and it was about an immersive AR experience where you lie in a machine and you can put yourself in any movie you want, which is quite cool. You've seen it interacting with Christopher Lee, like the old Hammer movies. Thought it was enjoyable, but then that's what happens. You know, he starts getting in a relationship with a woman in the movie, and his wife is kind of like starting to worry about him, and it spirals out of control. Really enjoyed that episode. On to season 3. First episode's mums. A young boy loses his mother, so he's got to live with his, once again, horrible stepdad. It seems to be a recurring theme. She ends up turning into a vine plant lady monster, ends up getting revenge. Thought it was okay. Queen Bee totally switched off about this episode. About them meeting a pop star, I couldn't tell you anything else about it. Skeletons in the Closet, episode 2. Really enjoyed that one. The guy owns a movie museum, prop museum. Takes over from his dad. A guy comes in trying to blackmail him. They end up murdering him and stuff like that. It's a good little thing to see, like little nuggets from other films, like Jason the Argonauts and that kind of thing. Stop motion animation. Enjoyed that. And Familiar, I can't remember this episode, so I'll have to skip that one. Episode 3, I probably messed this name up. The Last Subaria. It's about an art dealer, and ends up, I think he becomes obsessed with art, and he ends up turning into the art himself and getting killed. This Japanese demon. Okay, I'll Bite. It's a spider episode in a jail. Thought that was okay. If you're not into spiders, you're not gonna like that episode. There's a lot of actual real spiders in the episode. Oh, and the guy turns into a spider on a big giant, well, not a giant spider, but a large spider's head. His head's on the top of it. Weird. Episode 4, Stranger Things. I like that episode. It was the siren. They lure a doctor in so they can take our voice box out and put it into another woman. She can become a siren. They end up double crossing the siren so she can live a normal life. Meet a reader. Teenage girl was fed with demonic plague. She realises her family might be infected. I can't really remember that one, so I'll have to skip that. Time Out. There's this wardrobe. The guy wants more time in a day. Steps in a wardrobe, and time passes quite quick, but it slows down when you're in there. Or is it opposite? Time speeds up while you're in there, but outside slows down. So he's able to get all these promotions, all these jobs, but then it catches up with him, and then he ends up getting locked in, and he ends up turning to dust. And I think his wife ends up going in there, like his son. One of the things, I can't remember that. The Thing in Oakwood's Past was an animated episode. I didn't really pay much attention. The last episode, Drug Traffic, which is hilarious because it's a giant floating head with a spine that keeps killing people. First thing about that episode was Michael Rooker and a dead girl named Sue, which I really enjoyed, which was a tie to Night of the Living Dead. I thought it was a nice little nod to the movie. It takes place in the Night of the Living Dead universe, and it's in black and white, and it's all happening at the same time. But yeah, I hope this one wasn't a slog for you. I tried to summarise it. I should have done better writing notes and stuff, but I just thought it's refreshing just to talk about a TV show as well. If you haven't got Shudder, you can get it a free trial, I think. It's only £5 a month anyways through Amazon. But yeah, most of them I really enjoyed. I still think my favourite episode is All Hallows Eve. I know obviously I've told you some of the twists and stuff, but it is the highest rated episode on IMDb. So yeah, I just think a couple of them slack off a bit, and I don't really get some of them where I'm just, there's no real like a lesson. Usually the Creepshow, it's like a bad lesson. People getting the comeuppance, that kind of thing. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.